about to go down.
It's lovely pass, and here he turns cleverly. Can he find a finish? Oh, he can!
Skill by Joshua, and a return right hand. Good counter right. Bullen is hurt. Second right hand. That clipped him as well. Now he goes in for the kill.
Well, Ricciardo is inching into the lead, and Ricciardo that win the Italian Grand Prix!
Iguodala running the floor.
Still leading the way with Canada in there too, with the Netherlands.
And Musa makes it 4 goals in 2 World Cup matches.
The Monaco Grand Prix! Ricciardo triumphant in Monza.
Through Bowden Barrett and an early touch and an excellent.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
Hello out there and welcome to today's episode of Sports Orbit, reaching you from the Leadership Podcast Studio. My name is Afa Acho. Salif Usman is here with me. Salif, welcome to Sports Orbit.
Yeah, afternoon. It's always a pleasure to be on Sport Orbit.
Yeah, on today's episode of Sports Orbit, we'll begin first of all with the 2023 AFCON draw, in which the Super Eagles of Nigeria, who are already in Pot 1, will know their group opponents today. Super Eagles have been placed in Pot 1 for today's draw for the 2023 AFCON Cup of Nations to be hosted by Ivory Coast next year. The Super Eagles are among the 12 teams seeded for the draw, which includes Senegal, Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, Cameroon, and Algeria. Other teams include Mali, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, Ghana, and Democratic Republic of Congo. The 48 countries qualified to participate in the second round of the qualifiers have been seeded into 4 pots based on the official FIFA ranking released on the 31st of March 2022. So the draws for the 2023 African Cup of Nations to be hosted by Cote d'Ivoire will begin today, and Super Eagles are in Pot 1. And what that means is Super Eagles will avoid Senegal, Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, Cameroon, Algeria, Mali, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, Ghana, and DRC Congo.
Yeah, you get it right there. Because when you're in the same pot, it's clear that the same team in the same pot cannot be drawn against each other. And the beauty of it is that most of all the heavyweights in African football
Pot 1.
are in Pot 1, and automatically that means they will not play each other in the qualifying process. And what this also signifies that why some people are still expressing doubt that the possibilities of the AFCON 2023 going to hold or not. It clearly shows that with this draw coming up now, it's clearly shows that the CAF is pushing hard and to ensure that having the 33 editions in just early this year and hold another one in the next year. So people are looking at that it may likely be very impossible. But with the draw coming up now and for the qualifier to start very soon, it clearly shows that the CAF is pushing hard and the host country are also pushing hard to ensure that no more laughs is extended, no more extension of times, and the championship will definitely hold come 2024 in Ivory Coast, and the host nation of Ivory Coast will still participate in the qualifying process. But that means that and by this draw, according to the CAF and based on the arrangements, there will be four groups, all the group will be drawn into 4 teams. And since the expansion of the AFCON from 16 teams to 24, that automatically says that all the top teams in each of the group will definitely qualify for AFCON. That means out of the 4 teams in each group, only two will be eliminated out, while the first 12 teams in each group will definitely qualify, including the Cote d'Ivoire, who has already qualified as a host, but they will still participate in the qualifying process. But what it means that if you are fortunate to be in Cote d'Ivoire group, so all you can fight is to fight to ensure that you finish first. Or if in the event that Cote d'Ivoire finish first, you also try to finish second. Because
because clearly as it is, they'll finish because they've qualified already. But you see, when I saw that aspect, for me, like I keep saying, I don't know how Africans always want to do things. A team is hosting clearly, even by FIFA standards. Once you are hosting, you've qualified already. So there's no point still putting them in the draws. Select other teams who will be in that draws. Why still put Cote d'Ivoire in that draws? They're limiting chances of other teams who might have qualified from that group because it's two teams from each group.
Well, if I may get it correct, what CAF is trying to do, but what if there's no how CAF could have expanded or bring another team to come and participate in the qualifier because it's a 24 nations tournament and being a 12 group, that means each group will produce two teams, that automatically make it 24. But if Cote d'Ivoire has already qualified, that means what they are looking for now is just a 3 team. That is definitely the best way to have done if they excluded Cote d'Ivoire from that.
Make them put three teams.
Just one group would have just made it 3 teams.
Yeah.
That's one. But at the same time, I think that even the Cote d'Ivoire will also share this arrangement in the sense that you also prove them in the qualified pools and also prepare them for the tournament proper.
Well, I quite agree with you. Anyway, as it stands, every group, for instance, every group will have at least 2 teams who will be making it to the finals in Ivory Coast eventually. And looking at the way most of these top teams, especially in Botswana, have been placed, it's most likely that, except something happens, it's expected that all the teams in Botswana at least.
Football is not always as we see.
No, like I said as it is right now on paper, all the teams in Botswana should be at least be expected on paper to qualify. Yeah, exactly. I mean, these are the biggest teams in Africa at this point. It's either like it or not. These were the teams who most of them either face each other or not for World Cup qualifiers. Some will be going, some will not be going. So at least as it is, at least it's expected that most of these teams will be going through then, while the other ones will fight for. I know we'll keep an eye on that one. That draw will come up much later this evening. We'll keep an eye on that one, and definitely tomorrow we'll give you a full recap of all that went down. And by tomorrow or much later in the night, it will become clearer which of the groups the Super Eagles will be in. Will it be a group of death? We don't know, but we'll keep an eye on that and give you all of that tomorrow.
Whatever group the Super Eagles will be, I think that will be the first assignment for the incoming coach of the Super Eagles, whoever is likely to do. There's a pointer that they definitely will be the Portuguese man. So that will be
we'll get into that because of
assignment.
Yeah, okay, away from that now to still talking about coaching, like we just mentioned. The Ministry of Sports has actually tasked the NFF to ensure that there's a level playing field actually while selecting candidates for the Super Eagles job. Although last week reports were rife that the NFF has settled on the man Pesero, but yesterday some other reports actually came out. I actually even listened to Victor Ekpeba on a program on a sister station while he was saying that Pesero has not been given the job, that all those things are still reports in the media that he is the favored one, but he was saying authoritatively that Pesero is yet to be given the job. And NFF has not fully decided if he was going to be the one or not. But of course, the Ministry of Sport reports have said that a level playing field should be adopted. Every candidate should be given a level playing field. But you know, in Nigeria, we keep seeing these things over and over again. When these things come, the so-called bodies who appointing bodies, both speaking from both sides of the mouth. Who is also a member of that technical committee who made that recommendation, came out to neither say here or there if he has been given the job. You know, all of this back and forth. Like I said, if you're giving Pesero the job, give Pesero the job and let us move on. If you are not giving him the job and you want to make the process transparent, then make it transparent instead of all this back and forth.
Well, let's first and foremost, where paper says speaking authoritatively, on whose authority, what authority the paper hold in Nigeria football. He's a member of the technical committee.
That is based on what he was saying, based on their recommendation.
He's a member of the
technical
committee, and that committee is just an advisory rule.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a final say. He doesn't have a final say. He doesn't have a stamp say on any issue. So if he's spinning that come out to say, okay, well, we have not given the job, I could have said, well, maybe I should give him the benefit of that. Outside pinning, I repeat, outside pinning, nobody will tell you, say, we have not given the job for job. When pinning is clearly that Pesero is the favor one, and then when the first came out with a custom of a person with a list of many coaches, about four of them, person that very high name football coaches, and all of them. Do you hear any of those names after that first mention? So, but and just like I say, these are the kind of the things that keep on dragging Nigeria football backward. Yeah. When it is time to take a decision at the right time and very decisive for what to do. But this kind of back and forth decision, nobody knows it's time. You are wasting time. Time is money and time is valid. You don't keep on wasting time trying to push a goalpost when there's no need to shift a goalpost. Okay. That is the same thing that leads us to where we are at the moment. When they sack the role to take a decision, you have sacked a coach. Take a decision. The first and foremost, there was simply either get a role or some sack. Get a role was not sure. Either he's the one going to AFCON or he was going to AFCON. But there's no any pronouncement that he was sacked until the last minute when they came out that they are sacked. After General played the last match against David and the people Nigeria was dissatisfied with the performance, we wasted over more than a month. Before they finally come out to ask him to leave. When you are clear that you are no longer going to continue the man, why can't you just pronounce and tell him, probably go to the meeting, discuss with you what needs to discuss, and settle how you wanted to settle it. But you keep on wasting time until you wasted almost 1 month before they have finally asked him to go. And when they finally ask him to go, we will have less than 2 months, less than 2 weeks to the AFCON. We will give a coach, because at that time you come clear that you cannot appoint a coach. You first appoint, and now the person we are talking. When it's obvious that you cannot finalize with the person to go to AFCON, you now say you need a interim coach. The interim coach went for AFCON, and after we came out from AFCON, we lose out in the second round. After we lose out in the second round, in the second round, we still wasted almost another month again when we have a crucial World Cup qualify against Ghana. It's not to take a decision, appoint a coach, or make a decision and make a plan and continue the arrangement to lead us to the playoff. No decision was taken. We wasted another almost what we found an answer. No, there's no need to hire another but also move on with the playoff. Now here we are again. We lost out. We fell out in the World Cup qualifier March 29. Today's 19. That's almost 20 days after. Still, we are still deciding either to appoint a coach or not to appoint a coach. And they keep on wasting time until now the draw for the World Qualifier AFCON for the one will be here today. And they keep on wasting time. The same thing play out for all the age grade coaches that they just announced recently. Why those teams, most of those teams already have a match to play this month. So they keep on wasting time, keep on as if they have all the time of this world.
I mean, the truth is, whoever the NFF has decided to appoint should be appointed. There's no need to keep playing around, which clearly the NFF has said they want a foreign coach. So if you feel Pesero is the man, go ahead, appoint him. But if he fails, we all know who to hold responsible. We will hold the NFF responsible. So there's no need for all the back and forth or the hide and seek game. Give Pesero the job. If you feel he's the right man to take Nigeria forward, the qualifiers will begin in June. We are already going towards the end of April already. So before you know, the qualifiers for AFCON 2023 will start. So it's better we have a coach now who will start drawing up his plans so that when the qualifiers come up, you know how to go about it. From that now quickly to, of course, when it comes to stadium renovation, where Minister of Sports Sunday Dare has said that the FG is committed to renovating the National Stadium in Lagos, just like they did to the one in Abuja. But this time around, the one in Abuja was done by Dangote, but the Lagos one, and that project is being handled by businessman Kensington Debutu, who will be bankrolling that project. It's part of Dare's Adopt the Pitch initiative, and from what he's saying, he say Just like the facelift given to the Abuja National Stadium, same treatment will also be given to the Lagos Stadium. In fact, when it comes to the Lagos Stadium, I think the work that was done here, like times 3 of that work, will be done on the. Of course, because I've been to this stadium severally. If you go into these premises, you won't even believe that you're in a stadium because around it there are so many things. There are places of worship. There are places of worship. There are supermarkets. There are eateries all over the place, shops, all kinds of things. So first of all, they'll have to first start by relocating all of those things, all of the things that are there are non-sporting activities before they even start renovating the stadium proper.
I think the work is not starting new. I think if I'm not mistaken, I've not been to that.
It's ongoing from what I understand.
From what I've read and from what I've seen, I think almost 50% or if not 60% of the work have already been done. In terms of the artisans and people who have been facing the stadium, most of them have been been asked to go to live and they have vacated the space. So just like a complete is a complete overhaul, a complete turnover of that stadium, and even the central track, they see that everything has all been disfaced. So that means there's more work to be done compared to what was done. What was done Abuja was just a pitch. So this one it will be a complete overhaul of the stadium, and we commend the businessman who are taking this responsibility as a private initiative to develop this. And at the same time, whatever in as much as whatever anybody may say about the current Minister of Transport, there's one thing that he has done fantastically and he has done well more than any of his predecessors. And we need to commend the ministers for this effort, for this initiative. Because it is very, very difficult for government to maintain the stadium, and let's not joke about it. But this man came with the idea that no, we must not use government money. We must use government money. What of the private institute as part of corporate social responsibilities, and that will take that first shot. And now we are seeing the result of the Abuja Moshi National Stadium, and the Lagos Stadium, which is one of the best,
let's say iconic stadiums.
Iconic stadium, one of the most effective stadiums who have hosted Super Eagles matches severally, and Super Eagles are even more.
The Nations Cup was even hosted in this stadium.
Yes.
In 1980, and also when Nigeria hosted with Ghana.
Hosted 2000 in the year 2000. So, if the ministers will be able, ministers have almost a year to leave office now, and we hope that before the end of this current government, the Buhari government comes to the end, which is going to leave with Buhari. Once Buhari leave, he has to leave with Buhari. So before he leaves, if any other thing he can do, to ensure that this Lagos Stadium come back to life, and that history will continue to remember him.
At this point, we'll take a breather to go for a short break, and when we come back, Sport Orbit continues. Don't go nowhere.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Sports Orbit. We make the world go round.
Welcome back from that short break. You're still on to Sports Orbit. Now to a bit of transfer news, where reports suggest that Crystal Palace have sent scouts to watch Nigerian midfielder Joe Aribo, who currently plays for Rangers of Scotland. The reports say that he's supposed he's coming in to replace Gallagher, who is actually on loan from Chelsea, but that loan deal expires at the end of the season, and Rangers feel that Palace feel that Aribo is the ideal man to replace Gallagher. The report added that Palace representatives were in attendance to watch Aribo in the Europa League quarter-final second leg against Braga, where he provided 2 assists in the 3-1 win to send the Scottish Giants to the semi-finals. Aribo has scored 8 goals and 10 assists in his time for Rangers. In the last 49 matches he's played for Rangers currently, and his contract is due to expire at the summer of 2023. Telephone, if this move happened, will you consider it a good move for Joe Aribo, leaving Scottish Giants, Scottish champions to Crystal Palace, notwithstanding it's the English Premier League, but will this be considered a good move for Joe Aribo?
Well, honestly, it depends why anybody will look at it. But from my own view, if Aribo is not longer he's not a small boy in the that game. He has proved his worth. He has showed the class in who we are. And to me, leaving Rangers to come to Crystal Palace, I don't see as a progress.
More like a downgrade.
To me, it's a downgrade exactly. So he got playing in the club that we are playing in Europa League, playing in Europe, and then we are coming to Crystal Palace. You know, not for the Crystal Palace they are doing well in the league, but the club they are not too short of their permanent stake in the Premier League. So they've got limitations, they can come back. So then if Aribo was moved from Rangers, I expected him to move to a club like, for instance, a more stable club, not less than Arsenal. For instance, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man U, or name there. If he must come to England, talk of Chelsea, talk of Man U, talk of Liverpool, talk of Arsenal, or Tottenham. Any club aside those levels, I don't think it's not a progress. Or if he must move, and then talk about another European giant like Barcelona, like Real Madrid or Juventus, that would have been more excited. But for him leaving the Scottish champions to come and play the Crystal Palace for the fun of I'm going to play the Premier League, it's not for me. It's not an ideal. But depending on what they are calculating, he's an agent who knows better what should be better.
Yeah, sometimes this kind of move could be motivated by. Sometimes it could be money. Because, for instance, for the Coutinho, for instance, who left Barcelona, even though on loan to come to Aston Villa, for instance. But in his own case, I think he even had to take a pay cut. And for Coutinho, you might understand that, okay, he's in search of reviving his career, but not someone.
Coutinho.
Yeah. I mean, Brazilian. Yeah, of course. I think you say he was trying to revive his career, but not someone. Not someone like Aribo who should be looking ahead to moving on to some bigger and better.
Age is very
on the side than living Rangers who are perennial champions. You know that whatever it is, in the last 2, 3, 4 years, Rangers have always win something. They are always a constant when it comes to not just Europa, but even the Champions League.
Yes.
Don't forget that it was from the Champions League that they even dropped Europa. So every season they are candidates for Europe. Then coming to a club who doesn't even know when they are going to taste European football, even if it's a Conference League. Because that's the truth of the matter. Like you said, it's not a stable club. Next season, they might relegate. You might not know exactly. So I think this kind of move sometimes, yes, sometimes agents might be interested in the sign-on fee that comes to the agent for brokering this kind of move.
This has come with a lot of players. Because agents are always after their own after personal gain.
Yeah.
Because if you go for a new club, you need more money competition.
Yeah, sure.
But agents will also be considered that you need to promote your brand and to develop your brand to earn more money. But if you want to sell out your brand cheaply, you end up cheaply. So Aribo, a key player in the Super Eagles, a key player in the international matches, a key player in the Rangers can't play without Aribo, and week in out, playing, and then just like playing in the Europa League, playing in the semi-finals of the second test of the Europa Cup, of the Europa competition. So what are we saying to come and play in Crystal Palace? Well, it all depends, but if it is money, I think Aribo still has age on his side, not to pick up money first. But although football is all about money, but whatever is earning, I think all he should be aiming for, a better and a bigger deal for a more lucrative club, not
I agree with you. Over now to the Spanish league, where Xavi Hernandez, Barcelona coach, is clearly pissed off and has urged his backup players to show more competitive character. This came at the backdrop of their yesterday's defeat, 1-0 defeat to Cadiz. Remember that they were knocked out of the Europa League by Frankfurt, who outclassed them right there in front of their home crowd at the Nou Camp. And when many people felt like Xavi was beginning to steady the ship, that defeat to Frankfurt brought them back to earth, and another defeat followed quickly. And as it stands now, they are 15 points off leaders Madrid. So as it stands, any hope he had of even challenging Madrid for the title is completely gone.
And what is that? These two consecutive defeats has messed up all the positive job he has done in recent time.
Yeah.
And like not even that they were not even that they were just knocked out. They were mostly beaten.
Well, of course, beating clearly at Camp Nou.
Beaten at the Camp Nou by German side. It's really unfortunate. But what I think, if there's something that is missing, Xavi need to find out. In as much as he's trying to blame the players and urging the players to step up, but he also needs to look inward. That is why he's the coach. Sometimes players may not see their lapses, but he needs to point out and identify these lapses quickly before it becomes another problem for him. But at the end of the day, he's his head will be the one he has to recall for all the players. So you need to dig deep and look what is the problem. Because these two consecutive defeats has done more good to Barcelona. Very big.
But looking at someone like Xavi in the long term, for instance, do you really think he's the right man for Barcelona? You know, there's always this thing when a coach comes new, and it always happens when a coach comes new. For a while, it seems like the club is back. Then after a while, fatigue and different things begin to set in, reality begins to set in, and you begin to record string of bad results, and the club start running from pillar to post once again.
And that's what I just suggested. How Xavi Hernandez will be able to respond to this consecutive defeat will prove either he has a job to play for a long time or not have a job to play for a long time. Remember, the club management and the fans cannot be hold on waiting for him for a very long time.
Of course.
How he responds quickly for the next 2 matches will prove either he has a job or he doesn't have a job.
All right, but as it stands, Barca will also go this season without anything, because
but we're hoping that they're going to win something in the Europa
League. Yeah, a lot of people.
Exactly.
But it was not to be. Nobody thought that a side like Frankfurt were actually going to outclass them over the course of 2 legs. Anyway, from that one to the EPL match tonight, of course, clearly it's a battle of 2 heavyweights, Liverpool versus Manchester United in tonight's title. But this time, United will be traveling to Anfield to confront Liverpool. And these two teams, as it stands, are both chasing 2 different things. Liverpool clearly gunning for the title, while United are trying to see if they can clinch one of the number. If they can clinch one of the number 4 places, at least during the weekend, they had a lifeline after Tottenham and Arsenal both blew, and it now opened that number 4 position once again. And Liverpool are hoping that with this win, at least they'll go to the top of the table at least for 24 hours, depending when City plays tomorrow.
Yeah, today's match, if you look at today's match, it's a very top class. Because, like I said yesterday, when we discussed about this yesterday, I said, yes, Liverpool may see Man United on the pitch as their opponent, unfortunately, Man U. But at the back of their mind, they are actually fighting against Man City.
Definitely,
because Man City is already because they don't have anything to lose or to gain against Man United. But the point they wanted to take is to get a point that will make them to be able to continue to man the pressure. Man City, they have Man U on the pitch, but they'll be contending with Man City. And the Man City also will be clearly watching to ensure that to get the whether Man can also do them a favor or ease the pressure from them. So, but one thing that first and foremost, let me just say we sympathize with Cristiano Ronaldo that he lost his son yesterday, and I will hope that he'll be able to recover. That
he'll be out of. He's been asked to be excused from today's match,
and that would be definitely a big blow to mind, because if you look at Cristiano Ronaldo so far, look at the last match against Norwich. It's called all the 3 goals was scored by Cristiano Ronaldo.
But some of you in the past have said that Cristiano was the problem of United. When I said severally that this is the man. I mean, At his age, Ronaldo has been able to score 21 goals in the Premier League.
And honestly,
And so, I mean,
you give it to the man.
exactly, whether you like it or not.
Whatever man you are this season,
It's Cristiano Ronaldo.
If not for Cristiano Ronaldo, man could have been over there. And I was also surprised. Look at it, all the Man U players, all the Man U, everybody on the Man U. Cristiano Ronaldo has scored 12 goals more than any Man U player.
Scoring 21 goals at his age. In a tough league like the Premier League.
It's not even a point man in mind.
Yeah.
It's not a point man, it's not a point striker in mind. But all every other strikers, including every other person, he has scored 12 more goals more than each player at the age of 26. And that is true, and to me that is clearly defined when you come to the average between him and Messi. That is where you are always saying that Cristiano Ronaldo to me has more to offer than no doubt. Messi has his skill, he has the talent, he has everything. But it's not clearly shown for us to know who is really the fighters.
To still play at this level in the league like the Premier League, which everybody knows is a very difficult league
competing for the golden ball.
Exactly, clearly.
So, and for him not playing to this match, it's a big blow for Man U. And I don't know how Man U will be able to navigate and to cope with it without Cristiano Ronaldo. And really sympathize with Ronaldo. That was a terrible blow for him, to his family yesterday, and it was totally devastated.
I mean, like somebody said, we joined football lovers all across the world. A lot of support. Gave a lot of people sending goodwill messages yesterday to console him. And here on Sports Orbit, we also send our condolences for that great loss. And we'll keep an eye on that one. And tomorrow we'll give you a complete review. Don't forget that the draws for Cote d'Ivoire 2023 qualifiers will be up today. We'll also be watching that one. And tomorrow we'll give you a complete review of all that and other sporting events that go down today. Salifu, thanks for being on Sports Orbit today.
Thank you.
Around to come your way tomorrow again with another exciting and refreshing episode of Sports Orbit. I remain yours sincerely, Afacho. Stay safe out there and goodbye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last word.